In this class, we're going to show you how to draw the boken, okay? Most of you guys are not going to have the saya right away, so a lot of people like to just slide the boken within their hakama and their obi. So you're going to basically have it as such, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we do it with the saya, okay? So you understand how this works. So as you put this in your obi, obviously slip your thumb in between your hakama and your belt. Hold on to the suba and the saya. Secure it with your thumb, okay? Traditionally, you're going to want to slide this out, finagle this into your belt, and then situate it to where you have this triangle, okay? There's exercises that you can do where you can loosen this up, where you go back and forth with this to loosen that up, because you don't want this locked onto your waist, because then it's going to be harder to draw the sword from the boken from the saya. So things that you want to keep an eye on is, I see this a lot in Aikido where people try to draw from here, okay? Now, if you guys understand katate dori techniques, kosa dori techniques, marote dori techniques, the reason why you have these wrist applications, these grabs, is because it was to prevent you from grabbing the sword. Back in feudal Japan and feudal times when people fought with swords, that's where the wrist lock techniques would come in. That's where those grabs would come in, things like that. You don't want to draw the sword from here. Okay? This shows that you are not proficient with training if you're drawing your sword from here. Okay? Create a triangle. Pull your sword out of your obi. Okay? So basically, about a foot is out from your obi. Secure the suba with your left hand and your left thumb. Okay? From there, this doesn't grab on top, it grabs underneath. This is how you want to grab the suka, the handle. And if you guys notice, I'm referring to the parts of the sword in Japanese terminology so you get used to that instead of saying handle, handguard, scabbard. Saya, suba, suka. Okay? So you're going to want to grab underneath. Also from here, you want to drop your body weight and you want to have a slight lean forward. Okay, as you do this. Remember, it's not this, it's here. This is how you want to be able to grab this. As you unsheath the sword, when you're pulling out the sword, the katana, boken, whatever you want to call it, you're actually pulling the saya back at the same time as you're extending your sword hand. That unsheaths the blade faster opposed to doing this. Plus, it gives the illusion for the person that's actually in front of you, they don't know the distance and how far you've already unsheathed the sword. So if I'm standing in front of you and I'm doing this, you can see how far I'm drawing out the sword. You're relatively going to understand and know how much further I have to go, which is going to buy you time to cut on the kote, the wrist, or whatever. If I do it this way and I start unsheathing this, you almost can't see. Your perception of distance is very limited. Plus, I'm pointing the end of the suka, the handle, at my target. I'm not down here doing this, because then you can see that. If I'm pointing the suka at you, I'm pointing that at the target, I can draw this out. As I'm pulling back the saya, I'm pulling forward with the blade. Notice how my hand's open. You can't do this with your hand completely closed. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be a smooth transition, and you're going to be basically jagged all over the place. You want this to be a smooth transition. Then from there, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger is already locked in. From there, then you're able to cut. As you do this, you're clearing the saya. Once you clear the boken from the saya, you're pulling the saya back out of the way. You want to pull this back. The other thing too with this is that you want to use hip rotation. Doing this straight forward, this is going to be very hard to be able to do this. So as you turn your hip, this allows you to exit the katana, boken, whatever, out of the saya faster. So you want to be able to rotate this. This pulls the saya back out of the way faster, which in turn gets the blade exposed for cutting purposes. So from here, the drawing of the sword, I'll do it this way so you can see this. You're pulling the saya back, pushing out the katana, diagonal cut, whatever you want. A keisagiri, a shomen, a dogiri, whatever. Okay? So one more time. So from here, pull back, pull out. Pull back and out, cut from that point. Okay? So from a keisagiri, from a diagonal standpoint, so you can see this head on, this is the cut. Try not to let the hand swing by You want to be able to have control of the bokken as well from here. So usually you let the bokken, the suka, hit your forearm as you cut. If you do this, then the bokken basically gonna sit there and circle around. If you're doing a multiple cut, which you'll see, you can do that to where it's cutting, raising up, cutting again. So you can do 2 kasegiris all at once, to where it's cut, cut. Your footwork as well has to shift forward as you do this. So when you cut, you do a second cut, you want to bring up that trail leg to follow through with that cut. It's almost like a finishing cut. So you cut them once, you cut them twice, it's almost like a finishing cut. Just like with Aikido, when you're throwing technique, iriminage, you bring that trail leg forward so you have more stability and balance at that point. So this is proper drawing of the katana out of the saya. Now remember, pull back the saya, pull the katana out, cut on an angle, let it stop. Let the suka hit your forearm. This takes some practice. A lot of people are going to end up doing that. You want to make sure that this stops for the most part. So you want to have control. You don't want to lose control of that. Okay? So that is basic drawing from the saya into a kasegiri cut. On to the next video.